Hey guys, it's Skybird, and I just wanted to talk briefly about some of the products that I've been using for casting. This is only my sixth day, so by no means is this am I an expert. And also talk a little bit about my process so far. So we're going to start with the product I have the most reservations about, and that is this one here. It is BBDINO Super Elastic Platinum Silicone Rubber, and I know that that's backwards for you. So what do I like about this? It's a 1-to-1 mix. It says by volume, but I have been doing by weight, and it has cured just fine. Mostly because I'm just mixing up fairly small amounts of it at the moment. One half of it is green, the other half is kind of a clearish white, so very easy to tell the difference when you are mixing. It's low viscosity. It degasses really nicely. It mixes very easily as well. So it says skin contact safe technically too, but I don't ever trust any of that crap. But yeah, it was $50 on sale for 2 kilograms, 1,000 grams per bottle. And that's a really reasonable cost from what I have seen online. The part where I have reservations is two things. When I made my 2-part mold, I used hot glue to actually close up the box, and I used sulfur-free oil-based silicone-safe clay from the brand NSP. However, this brand still reacts with those. This will melt the hot glue, which I have not seen documented by any silicone so far, and it will react with the clay. It will still cure in both cases. However, any surface of where the silicone touches the clay will get an oily, tacky, just film that's very difficult to remove. I use cornstarch to at least absorb a lot of it, but it never will fully go away. Thankfully, I can still use the molds. The molds themselves do come out fine. The end result of the silicone is nice. It's durable, it's flexible, it's not too firm, but it's not too soft. It's very forgiving. So I like it, but I have some reservations. I can't recommend it just yet, not until I have experience with it with other clays, other hot glues, or maybe other types of adhesive to close up 2-part molds. So in terms of the resin, I am using Shabebe resin. I got this off Amazon as well. It comes with both a regular lid as well as this easy pour top, and that works out fine. And as you can see here, also very low viscosity. And the bubbles, it degasses quite nicely as well. They're very quick to rise to the surface. I guess I could even shake it and kind of show it to you, that the bubbles will just kind of rise. You can even see it right there, so they go quickly. The bubbles will evacuate this quick, even small ones, so I really like it. It dries clear. It's a 40-minute work time with a 24-hour cure, and then a 2 to 3 day full cure. Basically, you can demold it at 24 hours. It's gonna leave the part a little bit pliable, but at that point, you're not gonna damage it anymore. And after a few days, it gets about as hard as ABS plastic. It's actually really shocking how firm it is. It's probably one of the most firm resins that I have used in a good way. So really happy with it overall. So would I recommend it? Yes, I think that it's a very good brand. Both of these have larger sizes available. I've had no issues with the resin in terms of cure inhibition, anything like that. It's a 1-to-1 mix. I've probably even gone a little bit off on some of those numbers, and it has still cured for me quite well. So yeah, I like it. It's good. I like it. So let's go ahead and talk about my process here for a moment. So as I mentioned, I started out with a 2-part mold first, but since I figured out the silicone's just going to leak right out of the sides where the hot glue was, I decided to let that cure so I could at least clean it up, because it'd be much easier to clean dry. And then in that time frame, I wasn't just going to wait, so I went ahead and just took a disposable cup of some kind and decided I'd use this for a cut mold. So I took the Huna here. I attached a funnel to the base of the mask. I think that works out well for this mask specifically, but any other mask, I'd pretty much just use the mouth attachment as the funnel. That's a much easier thing. I learned that after my second mask, which is the RAW. But anyway, I basically take that funnel, point it downward, if you will, and then I will stick it down inside of the cup. So assuming that that's the inside bottom of the cup, I'll adhere the funnel to the base of the cup so that the mask itself is not touching any of the sides or the bottom. Then I'll backfill that with my mixed silicone and let it cure. Once it cures, I remove the funnel, and then that gives me an area with my knife to actually cut into. And the idea is that you want to cut along the back of the mask, ideally along the jawline here, but I'm using a fairly dull knife, so I didn't quite make it that far. And specifically with the hoon, I accidentally actually cut on the front side rather than the back at first, which was not great. Did leave some artifacts, but that's how you learn. So with my second mold, I learned a little bit better. I decided to actually tape up the holes in the mask rather than leaving the silicone there and having to cut through it later, which worked out marvelously. Those did not have any flashing at all. Those eye holes came out perfect, and yeah, I can't recommend that more. The only downside with using tape is that it is going to leave, tape has thickness, right? So it is going to leave a artifact on the inside of the mask. If you're using opaque masks, that doesn't matter, you're not going to see it. But any transparent masks, you will see where the tape once was. So I would do a different process, probably a 2-part mold for transparent masks at least. With the RAW, however, I did attach the funnel to the base of the mask on the inside instead of the mouth. Still, I hadn't learned by this point, which meant that casting a transparent mask was not an ideal idea, not a good idea. So as you can see here, it did. I had to actually cut that away. I'll have to clean it up later. I'm not that worried about this one. I just wanted to test it at first, but the actual color on this came out excellent. In terms of bubbles, there's basically none other than a handful of teeny tiny ones that were just entrapped. And that's mostly my fault, not the resin or anything itself, but it's always worth noting. So on my third mask, I did the Ruru. This time I actually attached it to the mouth, but I did not close up the eye holes. I was frustrated when I was making this mold here because I thought my other molds were ruined at that point. So with the RAW, I had cast it vertically on the base of a cup. And I figured this was not going to work with any of these masks because I figured the resin just had too much surface tension to really battle against, but it did. And so I was like, okay, I want to try mounting a mask horizontally instead of vertically. So the funnel goes down to the base of the cup, but it just goes straight down rather than going back and then down at an angle, right? And that actually worked. I was shocked. Now, because I didn't tape up the holes in this mask, I had a lot of cutting I had to end up doing for the silicone, which leaves a lot of artifacts on the inside that I have to clean up later. Again, I'm not worried about it. It's on the inside of the mask. I can still use this. The front is flawless on both this and the RAW. But I mean, I'm not going to complain about it too much. Each of these processes, I have learned just a little bit more about casting and sort of what to do with each one. With transparent masks, I will probably just stick to 2-part molds in the future, or if I can get really good with my knife skills and I can cut along that jawline of each of the masks, right? The inside jawline. In theory, all of my flashing should be hidden there. The only area where there would be any flashing is from the mouth down to that jawline. So that area right down the center there, and that's it. And that flashing is very easy to clean up. I am happy because in many cases you can make the flashing nearly invisible on this with just a little bit of work with the knife. So really like it. As mentioned before, highly recommend the Shabebe brand resin. I have reservations on the BBDINO silicone, but it's good if you're doing cut molds specifically, so long as you maybe don't use the NSP clay. I will try it with some other types of clay too. If I have luck with any of those, then I'll update this in the future. If I have luck with any other brands of hot glue, I'll update that in the future. Don't expect to, but hey, you know, everything is different. Chemicals at the end of the day all behave differently, and different brands have different things in them. So that's pretty much it for this video. If you guys liked the video, make sure to like and subscribe. As always, my link's in the description below. Let me know what you guys think about these brands specifically, if you've had experience with them, or if you use your own brands, what do you use? I did have success earlier today, finally mixing in acrylic paint with my resin. So I'm really happy with that. I guess I should mention that I used part A to mix the acrylic paint in instead of part B. Everybody recommends part B. With part B, the acrylic paint would separate. With part A, it would not separate, and I was able to mix it in successfully. So I'm happy. All right, I'll see y'all in the next one. Take care.